strangest part, though, was the university gatekeeper's dog. The dog, usually calm and friendly, would bark aggressively whenever Chidela passed. No one could understand why. The dog barked at no one else, only Chidela. Some of the students thought it was odd, while others dismissed it as coincidence. But Ijeh couldn't shake the feelings that something was wrong. 2 years later, Chidela's strange behavior persisted. Once upon a time, in a vibrant university located on the outskirts of Nigeria, students came from different towns and cities, all with the hope of a better future. Among them was Chidela, a beautiful, brilliant young woman, known by everyone for her intelligence, kindness, and warm, cheerful personality. Chidela and her best friend Ijeh were inseparable. Wherever one went, the other would follow. They studied together, eat together, and even share secrets about their future ambitions. Chidela had always been the brightest in her class, while other students struggled with assignments and exams. Chidela sailed through effortlessly. Her lecturers praised her, and her classmates admired her. But it wasn't just her intelligence that made her stand out. Chidela had a way of making everyone feel comfortable. She was the kind of person who lifted the spirits of those around her. One fateful day, as Chidela and Ijeh sat beneath the large tree behind their faculty building, enjoying the cool breeze and discussing their upcoming exams, Chidela suddenly turned to her friend with a thoughtful expression.
Ijeh, I'm traveling tomorrow,
Chidela said, her voice soft but firm.
to the village.
Ijeh asked, surprised. It was unusual for Chidela to leave during the semester.
Yes,
Chidela nodded.
I haven't seen my family in a while, and I miss them. I'll only be gone for a few days.
Ijeh smiled.
Alright, but you better hurry back. We have a lot of study to do for the exams.
Chidela laughed, and the two friends continued their conversation, making plans for when Chidela would return. Days passed, and Chidela came back from her trip. But something was different. She wasn't the same lively, joyful person everyone knew. Her once bright eyes seemed dull. Her smile had vanished, and her voice was cold, distant. Even with Ijeh, her best friend, Chidela barely spoke. She avoided every conversation, often locking herself in her room, only coming out for her lectures or to grab something to eat. At first, Ijeh thought it was just fatigue from the trip, but weeks passed, then months, and Chidela's cool demeanor remained. The other students began to gossip about her sudden change in character. She's probably going through something. Someone speculated. Maybe she's just tired of everyone. Others whispered. The strangest part, though, was the university gatekeeper's dog. The dog, usually calm and friendly, would bark aggressively whenever Chidela passed. No one could understand why. The dog barked at no one else, only Chidela. Some of the students thought it was odd, while others dismissed it as coincidence. But Ijeh couldn't shake the feelings that something was wrong. 2 years later, Chidela's strange behavior persisted. By now, most of her classmates had learned to stay away from her. Ijeh, too, had grown distance, although they still live on the same campus. Their friendship had faded into a shadow of what it once was. Ijeh missed her friend terribly, but didn't know how to reach out anymore. One afternoon, while shopping at the local supermarket, Ijeh bumped into Oma, Chidera's elder sister. They haven't seen each other since Chidera's trip to the village.
Ijeh,
Oma exclaimed with a warm smile.
it's been a long time. How are you doing?
I'm good, Oma.
Ijeh replied, smiling.
How's your family? It's been a week since I saw Chidela.
Oma's smile faded slightly.
Ijeh, what do you mean? You didn't attend her burial.
She asked, with confusion in her voice. Ijeh froze.
Burial. What burial?
Chidera's burial.
Oma said slowly.
She died in a car accident on her way back to the university 2 years ago.
No!
Ijeh shook her head, feeling her heart race.
That's impossible. I just saw her last 2 weeks Monday. Chidela is alive. She's been here at the university all this time.
Oma's face turned pale.
Ijeh, I don't know what you're talking about. Chidera is gone. We buried her.
The two women stared at each other, disbelief and fear filling the space between them. Determined to prove her point, Ijeh grabbed Oma's hand.
It's alright. Oya, come with me.
She said, pulling her towards the university.
I will show you that Chidela is alive.
They rushed to Chidera's dormitory, Ijeh's heart pounding in her chest. When they reached Chidera's door, they knocked, but there was no answer.
Maybe she's probably inside.
Ijeh said slowly.
She doesn't talk too much anymore.
But something felt wrong. The door was locked, which was unusual because Chidela was always inside. In desperation, Ijeh pushed the door open, breaking the lock. But to their surprise, the room was empty. Chidela was gone. No clothes, no belongings, nothing remained. It was as if she has never been there at all. Oma gasped, covering her mouth in shock.
Ijeh, this can be.
Ijeh stood frozen, her mind racing.
What was happening? Had Chidela truly died? If so, who had been living in this room all this time?
The students who had heard the commotion gathered around, their faces filled with fear and curiosity. Whispers filled the air as the reality of the situation began to sink in. The dog has known all along. Its barking has been a warning, trying to tell them that something was wrong, that Chidela was not who she seemed to be. From that day forward, Chidela was never seen again. Her disappearance sent shockwaves through the university. Some believed she has been a ghost all along, while others thought she has been possessed by a spirit during her trip to the village. The gossip spread like wildfire, and the fear gripped the hearts of the students and the lecturers alike. As weeks passed, and although life resumed its normal course of some, the misery of Chidera's strange return and the sudden vanishing haunted Ijeh. She couldn't sleep at night, replaying every moment she had spent with Chidera after her supposed return. How could her best friend have been dead? Yet, she had speak to her, seen her every day, share awkward silence in their once vibrant relationship. Rumors spread through the campus like a wildfire. Some students claimed that they have seen Chidela's ghost wandering the ground at night, her face pale and her eyes harrow. Others speculated that she has never really been a human being since she returned, that some kind of malevolent spirit had taken over her place. Superstitions began to rule over reasons. The university soon became a place of whispered prayers, with students avoiding the gate at night and the path near Chidera's dorm room. Ijeh, however, could not move on. The emptiness of Chidera's room, the confusion and the fear on Oma's face, and the chilling realization that she has been friend with a ghost. She spent her days researching folktale, spiritual belief, and supernatural tales, trying to understand what had happened. Was there a chance Chidera's soul had returned for some unfinished business? Or has she been taken by something sinister during her trip to the village? One evening, as Ijeh sat alone in the university library, a professor named Dr. Ndoka approached her. He was an old, wise man who had been at the university for decades, known for his knowledge of ancient African traditions and spiritual matters.
You have been asking a question, my child.
Dr. Ndoka said, his voice softened but grave.
About Chidera? Yes.
Ijeh looked up, startled.
Yes, sir. I don't understand what happened to her.
Dr. Ndoka sighed, bring up a chair beside her.
Chidera's story reminds me of an old folktale from my village.
He began.
In it, a young beautiful girl, much like your friend, traveled to the spirit world unknowingly. She returned, but she was not truly alive. Her body walked among the living, but her spirit had not returned from the journey.
Ijeh's eyes widened.
You mean that could have happened to Chidera?
It is possible.
Dr. Ndoka replied in his serious expression.
When she traveled to the village, perhaps she encountered something. An old spirit, a cursed place. Sometimes the spirit can take hold of someone's soul, leaving their body behind, to live in the human world. They can walk among us, but they are no longer fully human. And once a person realizes this, they often disappear.
At that moment, Ijeh was so scared.
That's why she changed so much. And why the dog always bark at her?
Yes,
Dr. Ndoka nodded.
dogs are known to sense the presence of spirits. The gatekeeper's dog could tell that what returned from Chidera's village was not entirely her.
Ijeh felt a wave of sadness, and fear washed over her.
Is there any way to help her?
Dr. Ndoka shook his head slowly.
Once a person has been claimed by the spirit world, it is difficult to bring them back. But sometimes, all they needed is peace, a way to cross over fully.
Determined to find closure, Ijeh decided to visit Chidera's village. She hoped to find an answers, or at the very least, pay her respect at Chidera's grave. Perhaps, in doing so, she could help Chidera's spirit rest. With Oma's help, Ijeh traveled to the village, a small, remote place surrounded by thick forest and ancient trees. The village elder welcomed her, and one of them, an old woman named Mama Nkechi. She guided her to Chidera's burial site. The grave was marked with a simple wooden cross, with Chidera's name etched into it. As Ijeh stood beside the grave, she felt a deep sorrow wash all over her. The weight of everything she hadn't understood now pressing down on her heart. She knelt by the grave, her hands trembling as she whispered a prayer.
Chidera,
she said softly, her voice breaking.
I don't know if you can hear me, but if you can, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't see what was happening sooner. I'm sorry I couldn't help you. I just want you to rest now, wherever you are.
For a moment, the air around her was still, the only sound being the soft rustling of the leaves in the wind. And then, as if in response of her words, a gentle breeze swept through the clearing, carrying with it a feeling of peace. Ijeh closed her eyes. Tears streamed down her face. She didn't know if it was her imagination or if Chidera has heard her, but in that moment, she felt a sense of closure. When Ijeh returned to the university, life slowly began to return to its normal. The rumors about Chidera's schools faded, and the students moved on with their studies. But Ijeh never forgot. She still missed her best friend deeply, but she has come to accept that some things were beyond understanding, that there were mysteries in life that couldn't always be explained. The gatekeeper's dog, once notorious for barking at Chidera, became calm again. It no longer barked at anyone, as if it too sensed that Chidera's spirit has finally found peace. Though Chidera's presence was gone, her story lived on, a haunting reminder of the thin veil between the living and the dead, and the power of friendship, even beyond the grave. And whenever the wind blew gently through the university grounds, Ijeh liked to think that it was Chidera watching over her, free at last. The end.